is obviously a lower body movement. We want to think about, especially if you have any sort of weight on here, we want to think about that upper back and everything being tight, okay? So again, that gives that a good solid platform for that bar to be sitting on. You want to have your hands as close as comfortably possible, okay? But again, but still being able to create that stability back there. And we want to think about trying to pinch those shoulder blades down and back. So again, now that bar is kind of resting on my traps, and it has a good solid base. My shoulders are packed, everything's kind of stacked in back there. And my foot positioning will be around hip shoulder width. All right, again, a little bit of a comfort level in terms of exactly your mechanics and where you actually want that to be. And your toes can be turned out a little bit. Remember, I talked about this morning where we want to think about trying to screw those feet into the floor. And now as I sit, I push my rear end back. You want to think about trying to keep your shins, all right, as vertical as possible versus this. Okay, we want to think about trying to push those hips back, okay, and keep those shins as vertical as possible. All right, so ideally, we would get you to parallel. Some of you may have heard that it's bad to sit all the way down. Not necessarily. If you have the mobility to do so, it's not bad. All right, but if you are squatting down and then your back kind of turns to this thing just to sit deeper, that's when it becomes a problem. Shoulder blades are tight, my foot positioning, okay, and then I push my rear end back, and again, I hopefully will get to parallel, and then as I'm coming up out of the hole, we don't want to see this. Okay, again, we want our hips and our shoulders to rise together, and you can think about trying to press that bar up and off your shoulders as I'm coming out. That'll help keep that chest more upright. So obviously I mentioned your knees. We want to make sure that we keep that whole foot on the ground. Okay, we want to think more or less that you're driving from your heel or at least the back half of your foot. So whether it's a squat, whether it's a deadlift, you don't want to be rolling up on my toes as I'm pressing. Same thing in a squat here. Okay, I'm not rolling up on my toes. That's going to put us in a bad position. We want to keep that head and chest up. As I sit, I'm driving through the heels of my feet and driving up and out of the bottom. That'll help keep your hips under the bar, okay, and help, at least from a squatting standpoint, help keep your hips under the bar and help keep everything coming up together. 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 Together.